Welcome to Ask the Druids. Today we have Ebby Salinas here with us to talk about a really fun topic that kind of came up. So, Ebby, what was your topic you wanted to discuss today with the Druids?
Okay, I had to write it down to keep it straight. What I would like to know from the Druids is how can we as humans on this in this plane,
Mhm.
how can we or will we ever be at the same level as the other galactics so we can join in on being supportive to our neighbors on the galactic field? Or were we designed in this planet of free will to not be joining the big dogs up there?
Mhm. Well, I think that's a really cool topic because we do hear so much of the different galactic races, the Palladians, the Arcturans, everyone that's assisting us. But yeah, when are we going to get to their level? So, how did you come up with that? What kind of made you come up with this as your topic for today?
Because I was really ticked off at my guides yesterday.
Hmm.
I was very annoyed. And I'm like, you know what? Why do you guys get to be the boss of me? And like, what's the deal here? When do I know we have free will and we create all these things, but it always seems in the backdrop, they are there.
They are, yeah. And
Yeah.
you've worked with some of the other galactics before, haven't you? Do you want to give people a little bit of
Yes.
background on that and your background?
Well, my background is astrology, card reading, and as most people are empaths, and I work with mentors and working with star seeds and learning my abilities and my mission and my passion is really growing a lot around the star seed community. But I think that just the exposing of the things that we don't pay attention to that kind of glide by us, and wait a minute, let me take another look at that. Let me take a look at why that happened and looking at the synchronicities that are around us. I think that those are the ways that we can continue to make these connections
Hmm.
and feel a part of the party that's going on around us when we think there isn't one.
Hmm.
So that's, and I work a lot with my guides and things like that. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That makes sense. I've always thought you have a little bit of that galactic energy in you that comes forward a little more too. So,
It's like, come on.
yeah. Well, we will figure it out someday, right? That's what ascension is, and that's what our evolution is as beings on this planet. So
Yep,
very good. All right. Well, you ready to jump in and get started then?
absolutely.
Okay. As there are many different races, and as there are many different sectors of different beings that are working on different planets, different star seeds, different parts of the universe, different beings, different energies, and as all of the souls, which are all part of Source, are coming in to decide where they want to be or being formed and created from each of these different places that allow for their birthing to happen. It is truly about understanding that each individual being and soul needs to understand where they are and how they have come to become into that placement. But as they come into that placement, it is also about them having this understanding that each of their backgrounds, each of their time of wanting to experience all of these different places in the universe, being on the different planets, being part of Earth, being part of Source, being part of the energies that work. It is almost as if that there is this ascension process and you have to work your way through each planet, through each time frame and dimension of understanding what densities are, what dimensions are, what energies are, what free will is, what the understanding of how you can just go down a path where it's almost taking you where you need to go as you're riding down and just watching your life happen around you, which can happen on different planets. But it is truly about you having that understanding and that knowingness that as you are all here, that it is about that when the earth and its plane can ascend, when all of the beings on it, when all of the humans, all of the plants, all of the animals can increase their vibration and move up into a higher dimension. So as you're moving into the fourth, as you've kind of left some of that third, and then you'll move into the fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, that when we always say earth is the weakest link, which was lowest, among the other planets, as that can come up, which so many beings have come in and incarnated in the human form to assist with that. But when they can come up, it is then where you can then show all of the other planets, all of the other races and beings, what Earth can provide, how you do have more of a free will standpoint here, how you do have more of a structure of how things work, of this creation, how you have to make things, how you haven't harnessed the energy that is there, that manifestation power, that abundance power, that understanding of how you create your own reality of what there is. That those are the things that then you can go and you can share and you can take back. Because as all of the other races and planets then will also continue to move upward and will continue to go into different areas to understand, to learn, and to grow, these are things then that beings from Earth can then assist with. So you will find that many beings that and souls that are very rooted in the earth, that are very earthly, that have spent much time here, such as she has, will then go and incarnate in other places to assist them with understanding what they're going through. The same way you're seeing it now. As you know, there are so many star seeds being stored. There's so many indigo children coming in. There's so many incarnations of beings that have not been on Earth or have not been on Earth very long. And so they're coming in here to have an understanding of what there is. And with that, they bring the ideas and the concepts and the beliefs from those other planets and races. And when they bring those in and when they allow for that to penetrate the Earth, it allows Earth and all of the earthly beings and energies on here to truly say, oh, maybe this is something we need to embrace. Maybe this is something that we need to maybe adjust a little bit. The same way someone that is newly hired into a company will come in with new ideas and thoughts. And not all of them will be taken for exactly what they are, but they will be integrated into some of the already processes that that company has. Or maybe they'll implement a new way of doing something or a new belief, or it might shift the culture. But that is the same thing with all of these other beings coming into planet Earth that it takes. And you can say, well, how many will it take? How many beings will have to come in and how long? And truly, that is up to the earth as a whole. That is up to the earth overall. Because as you're noticing now, there's so much splitting happening among the earth and among the world. So it is about, you see it with volcanoes erupting, the splitting, the earthquakes, the splitting of the earth, but you're also seeing it with those that inhabit the earth, with the belief structures and the patterns, and I want it this way and I think it should be this way. There is this breaking apart, but within that break apart, it allows for the newness to come up to the surface. So instead of seeing all of this as a negative, instead say, well, this is where I'm at and I can understand where you're at, but allow for that newness to come up. These new ideas, beliefs, structures, energies are ready to be rebirthed that so many of the galactic energies have put in here or worked with to allow for the ascension, because Earth was always down below. It had gotten stalled, so to speak, by those that did not have its greatest intentions at heart. And so now as it's able to ascend and break open, is about letting that come through. And then you say, well, there's so much change, there's so much turmoil. Well, it is about not living in the fear. The fear allows for that not to be rebirthed and for that to hold just broken open. Instead, it is truly about allowing for that to come in, allowing for that to shift, allowing for that to come through. And when all of that happens and when all of that comes in, you will then truly see what it is you need to see and how all of that comes true and how it all reconnects with who and what you are. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, totally. I see where the point that I was missing in that.
Mhm. So what questions do you have on what we've spoken of or other questions?
Well, I was also wondering, how does quantum, because I don't want to use the word science. So the theoretical line of science, for lack of a better word, or quantum, um, what will be the next breakthrough that is expected or is hopeful for the earth to go through, other than as we enter into more higher ascension?
Well, there's so much hidden from the earth right now. And so if you look at what it would be from quantum science or physics or, that what your human brain needs to wrap around to understand, there is so much there that is not known. And that is why you find there are so many beings that are coming in and they're giving these theoretical hypothesis of what could happen or what could be. But as the world descends, more of that darkness will come open. And you will find that they will understand how creation happened, how the planet was made, how things came to be. They will understand more of the galaxy. They will understand and be able to see more that is out there because the earth had to be shaded in darkness. It had to be shaded because the beings and the earth and the energies here weren't ready to accept that. The same way you can say that most beings and humans cannot see spirits walking around, but there are those humans that can see a spirit, a soul, an energy walking around or being near them. But if everyone saw that right away without warning, it would be very scary. It would cause much turmoil among the human race. That is why only a select few could. And even now, even though it's opening up to more, there are still only those that truly understand how it comes in and how that they're walking between those dimensions. Because when a human can see a spirit or a soul that is past, they are able to walk between those two dimensions. They are connected. And that is what will happen with the earth. That as this awakening and this enlightenment is happening. And enlightenment, we mean by the light will truly shine on what was dark before, such as the sky, the galaxies, the universe. That when that light opens up and that veil is lifted a little bit, it will not go away quite yet, but when it is lifted, it will show more behind. The same way when the curtains are, you can see, are pulled together, but you can see a little bit through the window. They will be pulled back just a little more, and then you have a higher vantage point of what you can see out the window. And that is what scientists, so to speak, will then begin to understand. Because Earth is a planet where there always needs to be a why or an understanding of it. There's always those humans and those consciousnesses, they'll say, we need to understand why this happens, why this is. The same way you understand that when someone channels, as we are through her right now, if you did a test on her brain, it would look very different than when we are not there because they need a why behind it. So the why is provided. In the same way, when you find that someone is healed energetically, they put someone under a scanner and they're giving them the Reiki and the healing energy, and they're shifting that quantum ability there. They can see that. They need to see the changes in the human form. And so that is what will happen is those people will continue to dig in and to experience it. And they will, when they do the research, they will come to find that, yes, there can be a why behind it. Because if there's no why, the human race will never believe what is being said. Did that answer your question?
Yes, yes, and that I agree with that. How about those who have very, and I think it's very common when our belief systems are being shaken, and contrast comes in to what we've been living our whole life. Not everyone, I expect, is going to be able to embrace a lot of these new beliefs for them, or these new um, perspectives, I should say, because it's really not a belief to them. How will that not shake them to the core where they just check out? Because at some point, it may be too much. I mean, there's so much going on nowadays. 60 years ago, it was very gradual that we were stepping into these waters. Now it's very in our face, very out there, very common. So, what do you see for those who have a very dense or very concrete um, belief system still in place?
Well, those that are very dense and concrete in that, we've been working with them. Every being has been being worked with to be open more. The same way you could say, if you look back 5 or 10 years, people were not open to alternative healing modalities that weren't the strictly Western medicine. That now they're more open to utilizing herbs and supplements and energy healing and acupressure and acupuncture and all of those things that allow for just the energy to shift and to move. And so we're working with those. Now, there are some beings on the planet that are just saying, this is too much for me, and I'm going to decide to exit. And you've noticed that over the past several years, that as the ascension is, there are those that saying, I've done what I've come to do, I'm ready to leave, or I just cannot handle what is coming through anymore. And so I'm ready to leave from that standpoint. So I think all of it is that yes, there needs to be this structure, that there are those that will be very stuck. And there's those too that will say, well, I can't believe it, or that's not how it was. But the problem is, those are the people that live in the past. In the past, is at some point, very in the near future, will almost be unrememberable, unrecognizable, because it will be so dense. And you will recall certain things, but it won't be as deep within the structure as what there was before. And so, as you're coming to find that, and as you're seeing that, those energies and those souls that just can't handle it will most likely decide that it is their time to transition back out of the human form in whatever way they decide. But no, there are those that will just be very, very stubborn and may say, no, I'm going to wait it out. But you will find they will become a little more reclusive. You will find that they are not willing to go out, that they're just sitting there. They're wallowing, they're living in fear. And those are the beings that you need to have the most compassion for, because they don't want to understand the change. But many times that was what they wanted to experience. Where every being on this planet that is here now knew and knows what is going to happen, knew that Earth was going to ascend, knew that these shifts were going to happen, knew that timelines were going to shift, maybe not knowing the exact timeline, but knowing what all the potentials were, knowing what their plan was for being here. And so they all knew that and wanted to come in and experience it, as this is a very, very important time in Earth's time frame, that it is allowing for so much to be here. And so that is why, as those come in and those people shift and they move and they regress, it will also bring in so much more healing and so much more enlightenment. And we hope that as their guides, angels, all energies, that we will work with those that do not want this to happen, and that we, over time, hopefully they can come around if they choose not to transition when they are finished with the time here. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. And I loved how lovingly you put that. Thank you.
Mhm.
I believe that is what I have for you today. And I really enjoyed this. And you gave me a shift here that I didn't think of. And I appreciate that.
Of course. Well, we've given you much to think about, and we know you will be back with additional questions on this topic. And with that,
Yes.
shoot. Oh, that was a very interesting way of putting that, Abby. I've never really thought about that topic, or, well, I've thought about the topic, but not those questions in the way you asked.
And I didn't think of it the way you said it. I mean, all it took was really for you to say they knew when they came. They knew it. Well, yeah, that's true. They knew.
Yeah, yeah, it's sometimes I think many people don't realize, it's like we knew everything that was going to play out. We knew all of the possibilities. We may not have gone the exact, but we knew. So I guess you and I we signed up for this timeline.
Yes, true.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
There's no, but I loved it. I really enjoyed the answers to
Oh,
these
good.
questions. Yes.
Yeah, I think it showed a lot. What was your biggest like aha moment with it?
Oh God, I could have kicked myself because when the first one, when you said, because I wasn't thinking of the perspective of the star seed. I was thinking of the human on Earth. Well,
Mm-hmm.
there's only a few Earthers.
Hmm.
A lot of us have come from somewhere else. So why would I think that these
Yeah.
poor Earthers are just stuck always being guided when there's so many of us
Mm-hmm.
that when we check out are not here? We would choose another location.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another vacation spot.
Exactly. And I know a lot of people that have said, and I've even seen readings where they're like, yeah, I'm not coming back here again. Like this was too much. But like I know I'm more of an earther. I've been here so much that I'm like, oh, I don't know why I'll come back, but I'll probably end up showing back up here at some point. So
You know what? I think I ended up here because somebody in my soul group thought it'd be a great little vacation place to come to. And we just need to not have that one person be in charge of the itinerary next time.
so you're gonna
That's
take
what,
control of the itinerary from now on?
yeah, yeah. She is not going to have that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you even know who it is. That's
Mm,
great.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of this today. I love the topic, love the questions that you had. And as they said, I know you'll probably come up with more around this topic. So I think this is a
I will.
huge area to look. So we'd love to have you back. But for people that are looking to connect with you on an astrology or a reading or a session, how can they get in touch with you?
Just go to crowreadings.com or find me on Facebook with Crow Readings or Ebby Salinas, and you can connect through there.
All right, wonderful. Well, all of her information will be below, along with your bio and all of that, so people can get to know you a little better, because you are definitely a fun person. So I think everybody should connect.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. Well, with that, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you everyone for watching and listening, and make sure you can get the next episode coming through. So please go in there and make sure that you're hitting that little bell to make sure you get it. And with that, thank you so much, and everyone have a wonderful day.
Thank you.